This is a bit of a quirky idea. We are basically not, it's mostly brief, but we are revisiting old video topics from like 2+ years ago. For some of them, I have like a notepad where I've like written notes, so that I can like elaborate on stuff. But some things are just not even really that important, and I also, because I didn't want to do like an insane amount of research and then have like the follow-up video be like really long, to elaborate on every single thing that I said. But, I still thought it'd be interesting to kind of like briefly look back and see how things have changed and what ways have they changed, or is it just a more opinion-based thing where my opinion has flipped or I have more to say than before. So yeah, let's get into it. So, TSSM 2023 strat / category time predictions and other stuff. I did not watch this whole thing, I just, like, clicked around and got the gist of what I was saying. So, a prediction that I made is that Weenie Out of Bounds would be a thing at some point. Not for 2023, this video was made in, like, March, by the way. It was, like, late March or something. But I basically predicted that it'll be a thing at some point, either by not going out of bounds at all, or it just needs to save more time. And we did find a way for it to save more time. Though we'll get into that later. It's not even it's not even possible on Xbox, NTSCOG, so yeah. The second thing I noted is that I said that Quick Chris will probably be done in runs, but this was so long ago that it was before it was called Quick Chris. It was just kind of like that Chris skip, token animation skip strat. So, yeah, Quick Chris got added sometime, I think it was like a little later, because basically it is so fucking atrocious to practice without the practice mod. I would straight up say, like, you shouldn't even consider doing it unless you have the practice mod, and even then, you still don't want to do it until you probably have, like, sub 105 or something, because the trick still sucks. Yeah, so, it saves, like, 4.5 seconds or some shit. Like, it's pretty hard field-based, but I've practiced it enough to get it enough to warrant doing it in runs, and that's been the case since 2023. And then obviously there's the ledge grab skip version, which is way harder. I just go with whatever I'm given, based off the speed. But yeah, I just said they'd be done in runs at some point, and I probably meant in 2023, and it was. So it's shortly after as well, it didn't take that long. And the third prediction I made is that one flat won't happen in 2023. And then I said that by the end of the year, the world record will probably be about a 101.12 was my prediction. And the funny thing is that I think this was after Sponge Glide got found. Maybe it wasn't, but I feel like it was, because I thought that got found in, like, January 2023, and I made the video in March. So I don't know, like, what got found since then for me to go from having a 101.30, because that is what I had, a 101.30. I don't know how we went from that to, having a to be fair, that run was way beyond what I thought was possible. But even, like, I was going for, like, a 101. I don't remember exactly what time I was going for, but I think it might have been an OX. I think I was going for, like, 101.08 or some shit in, like, June. So only a few months later, apparently, enough got found, but I'm not exactly sure what got found. Maybe it was just Sponge Glide, but I don't think it was, so I don't know. Highest standards? I don't fucking know. But yeah, by the end of the year, the record was 1 flat 49, and I predicted it to be 101.12, so yeah. I also did say something about 59, but I think I just said, like, oh, I don't know when it's gonna happen, so, yeah. The fourth thing I noted is that I said that we need to look into more throwing fruit cycles, and we did. And we found faster throwing fruit cycles. A matter of fact, like, the last part of it, like, the third section? I think it was either Sky or Latte, they looked into, like, 4 different, like 3 or 4 different versions of that cycle, and like all of them were faster than what we were already doing, if I recall correctly. But yeah, now we just do the fastest one, and it saves like 1.5 seconds, and it's an easy time save. I mean, it's not like free, because you could go too slow for the electric, and then you either need to like get damaged by it or jump over it, but yeah, like at least like 1 second, like that's pretty fucking easy. And it didn't take long, you know, that also took a few months. I predicted NMG 119. I guess I'll just click, show these leaderboards. I predicted NMG 119 by the end of the year, and that did not happen, if I recall correctly. I will also just very briefly give, like, a like, that's another thing. If I have something to say, like, now, like, some sort of follow-up thing, then... Like, almost like if I were to fully remake the video, but then add point, like, I can say those points. I'm just noting what I said first. And then I said, for any percent Xbox, there would be 1 improvement before the end of the year, 1 PB. Not because the ROM was, like, insanely optimized. It had a major mistake at some point, I know that for a fact. But just because, you know, who's playing it, just whenever Sky feels like it, right? And no improvement happened before the end of the year. Then, finally, for all tokens, I predicted that by the end of the year, the record would be something like a 216.58. I said, like, I think 216 would, like, barely happen. All tokens is my oldest run on main, and you can see that I got a 115.40 fucking 2. So, I think the standards went up a lot. This was before combat strat, so I don't even know, like, what got found. Yeah, I genuinely don't know. I literally, I don't know. It might just be higher standards. I mean, when I grinded Hundo for those 8 months, I feel like that, you know, it increases standards for what you should be expecting from these longer categories. But that's the thing, like, this run was before that. So I really don't know. But yeah, and then I just didn't bother looking at the extensions part because it's fucking category extensions, but I'll just very, very quickly, I'll do my own predictions right now, not for the end of 2025, but I guess like a year from now, like October 2026 or something. I don't think no pause storage will be 59. At that point, it'll depend on if we find a bunch of like decent time saves or a big time save, and we've been finding it more recently. I feel like that's gonna slow down, especially because I'm only playing weekly, and, you know, like, the people who are, like, playing right now, like, they're not really, like, strat hunters, you know, and that's not to say the strats can't be found. I've found stuff, and I'm a fucking terrible strat hunter. It's just, you know, we've been blessed a little bit in the past few weeks, and I just don't see that continuing. So yeah, I don't think in a year from now, like, exactly a year from now, I don't think 59 is happening, but I could be wrong. NMG 118 is, like, definite, because I'm already, like... I don't know how capable of it I am. I think I'm, like... I think it would need to be, like, a really good run, but first I need to get a decent run to, like, fully figure it out. But by then, there's bound to be, like, a couple extra small time saves, and, again, standards, skill level improving. 118 in a year from now is essentially inevitable. As long as I keep playing the game, even just once a week, it is literally inevitable. If anything, I half expect it before the end of this year. Maybe it's harder than I think, or maybe I just hit a wall or whatever, but I just, you know, I can't really predict anything beyond that. I just think 118 is very, very reasonable. I know that there's, like, a new route on GameCube, slash PS2, fucking any percent, but nobody's playing it. I don't think, like, I would imagine that, like, 27 is possible, but I don't think anybody's gonna be doing anything with this category for the next year. I do expect 18. Sky plays this just often enough, and, like, this time is so close. Like, I think 18 a year from now is completely reasonable. I don't really want to come back to Hundo, but, like, there's a few time saves. Like, there's, like, a faster floating block, SCDA floating block cycle. There's the token deaths. Extremely minor optimization in Neptune that is so little I probably shouldn't even be mentioning it, but yeah. I would say the SCDA, TNT strap, but you don't do that in Hundo. You need to do toast early. Yeah, it's kind of... Damn, is that really it? I mean, there is, like, the Now the Men Tunnel stuff, and since then... Since, getting this time, there's been, like, a much easier version of that route found. And I really do mean it is leagues better. Leagues. You know what the funny part is? It's still not viable. Like, on the, like, viable scale, from, like, 1 to 10, 1 being, like, this is, like, pretty much, like, TAS only, that shit is, like, a fucking 2 or 2.5. The old one, and the new one is, like, a fucking, like, 4. So it's still, like, horrible. So I don't even know if this will be improved at all in a year, just because, even though it's like, I don't want to, because 220 just seems too out of reach. I remember the Now the Amend in this run was not good, but I got fucking Robota 1 frames. Oh, I just remember something else, actually. You buffer the you buffer the monster skip token now, which saves a second with this route. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. I think realistically this either won't be improved, or even if it does get improved, it's not gonna be 220. Old tokens, this run is so old that it's hard. It doesn't have combat strats, no token deaths. What else? I don't even know. Like, oh yeah, the fast SCDA flood and block cycle, which saves like 4 seconds. Like, I know I have free time save and Now the Women. Yeah, like, I don't know if 214 is currently possible, but again, assuming I'm playing every week, like, pretty much every week, almost without fail, you know, barring, like, you know, like, I don't know when fucking Christmas is this year, but obviously if it's on, like, Saturday or Sunday or something, I'm not streaming. Same with, like, New Year's, most likely. Or, like, if it's my birthday. But assuming, again, I'm just playing weekly... Because I'm like, I'm so happy that I can still, like, run the game weekly, just because, like, my skill level isn't getting worse, and it's, like, it's very slowly getting slightly better. Like, just very slightly. I didn't know I could get away with that. But that's nice to know that even if I begin to have, like, a big focus on YouTube or whatever, it would not be a big deal to dedicate, like, 6 to 7 hours... 6 to 7 hours a week. Just playing movie, you know? Like, that's nice to know. Because then I can still, like, slowly improve. Hopefully another Rubadub-esque, Rubadub skip-esque trick doesn't get found, where it's like, I need to do it a billion times to get it consistent, because then it's like, ah, fuck, dude. I gotta dedicate more time to this than what's worth. But yeah, in a year... Assuming I'm playing weekly, in a year, I could probably see 214. I feel like I would need to, like, look at my splits and, like, see all of the time save. But yeah, probably like 214. Like, there's a few seconds in Plank as well. Like, yeah. Anyway, oh, I think I also upgraded health to, like, 4 or 5 in all tokens, but I just wouldn't upgrade it now. Like, the combats are, like, good enough now to not need that. All extras. There is a... Well, okay, I did this at a weird time. I think this might have been when because there was, like, a fast Now the Women floating block cycle found. There were, like, 2. And I think this might have been when only the slower one of the 2 was found, and not both, but it's hard to remember. I might be wrong about that, but even then, you got the SCDA floating block thing, you have, token deaths, there's, like, a very slight optimization you can do with, Bungie, the Bungie extra. I'm trying to remember, like, what are the mag extras that we get? Oh, no, you don't even enable mag, do you? Yeah, because there's, like, effectively no reason to enable mag. Yeah. only very little has been found, basically. I don't think... Even, like, the plank stuff, like, it doesn't even apply to all extras because of how you have to approach the level. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't even see this getting improved, but if it does, then obviously nowhere near a 109. When I do these predictions, like, it's all under the assumption that, like, nothing major gets found, you know? And I don't even know if I want to, like, talk about extensions, but, like, Frogfish... Maybe, with, like, some weenie out-of-bounds stuff, like, maybe, but I don't know. Because you can get a 3x, even with current weenie out-of-bounds, it would just be awful. NLR, I don't know how optimized this is, I'm just gonna say a 58, or probably in a year, assuming chat wants, but, like, even a 57. Like, just either a 57 or a 58 is realistic. Early powers, because it's extensions categories, they're simply just not gonna be played as much, but there are, like, there's been a couple optimizations since the run. I could maybe see, like, APB, but I don't even want to touch it, low-key. Like, I wanted to get runs so good in these categories, I never had to, like, touch them again. Not because they were, like, literally unbeatable for the rest of the time, but because, like, look at the competition. Nobody plays these categories. And yet, I went out of my way to not even get decent runs in these categories. I went out of my way to get genuinely, legitimately good runs on the same level as the stuff that I get on main. Maybe slightly worse, but, like, still very, very competent runs, right? And because these runs tend to be either more linear or shorter, so, like, there's just effectively less time save, or, like, you know, a lot of them allow, like, warping, which skips movement, which skips potential time saves. Like, these generally just have, like, less, like, discoveries made that can push them lower, and what's been pushing them lower is just the lack of dedication to them, which just makes PBs easy by the time you improve your skill level a lot in the span of, like, 2 years or whatever. But seriously now, like, not that much has been found. I mean, for, like, EPAE, there's been a couple things, like, this might be the worst run on here, maybe? Yeah, honestly, it probably is the worst run on here, because the Now the Immense shit saves, like, 9 seconds, or 8. Actually, it saved less in this category because of how... because you don't do end level. So it'd probably be like 7 seconds or something. And then, SCDA, it'd save a couple seconds. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure, but this is probably the worst run. But I don't even, like, want to play it, and nobody's gonna beat my time, so, like, literally, like, who cares? Like, ETU, my run is really good, and very little's been found. I just, like, again, it's not even, like, worth talking. If I come back to any of these, it'll literally be, like, Frogfish, Cheap Ascent, and Early Powers, because those are the ones, like, actually, like, worth my time, you know what I mean? I think there's combat stress that you could do in APL now. Like, yeah, because I think it's when the combat stress were, like, brand new. And the Now the Men one specifically is when it was, like, brand new, so I probably did it really shittily. And I would rather do the new one anyway, and it definitely doesn't have the BBBH or Depression one. Anyway, yeah, so the only ones we're talking about are fucking Early Powers, Frogfish, and Cheap Ascent. Cheap Ascent, I think Neptune's kind of locked in now. I just don't really see how we could push it further. But I'd like to be wrong. I'd like more Neptunes. As long as they're not Cancer, I'd like more Neptune strats. Early Powers, I could maybe see just like APB, but not like a big one, just like 3x or 2x, probably 3x. And, Frogfish, if we can make Weenie Out of Bounds just better, then I could easily see 3x. So, yeah. That's the end of that follow-up video. That was quite long, that's one of the longer ones I need to do. The next one is Xbox port storage, should it be allowed. So, it already was allowed back then, but it was just like, some people don't like the existence of any percent Xbox. So it was basically just posing the question of, like, should it even be allowed to exist on the leaderboards? And I gave reasons for and against it. Because basically the TLDR is that there is no good way of legitimately setting up Xbox port storage because you need to fill up the hard drive, but the hard drive is so fucking enormous that it's hard to do that. You could burn things to it, but then again, it's hard to get it down to like the correct number of kilobytes left, because you need enough kilobytes to still like make a save file, so it's kind of cancerous. It has been done legitimately once, and it was literally just to see if it was even possible. Like, it was very obvious that no one's ever gonna do that again, you know what I mean? Or if we banned, like, doing it through, modding, and, like, you had to show proof they did it legitimately, fucking 5 years from now, I bet you there'd be at most, like, one other person that even bothers to do it. It turns your Xbox into a movie machine, basically, and it's clearly, like, stupid. And you need a way to, like, burn discs to then even burn, like, music or whatever to the Xbox, which, and those are just getting, like, more niche, as more and more people have, like, modern PCs that don't even have disc readers. Like, when I made that video, I had a PC with a disc reader. I don't have one anymore. Like, that just goes to show, you know? But yeah, it's been, like, over 2 years, like, roughly 2.5 years since I made that video, and nothing has really changed. I think the only thing I didn't mention is that on 360, it is possible to still, like, corrupt the save file by, like, you can connect your hard drive to the PC and literally just, like, edit the file. Like, I haven't done exactly that, but I've fucked with, like, connecting my hard drive to an adapter, which then goes into the PC. But it almost definitely, like, can be done on 360, but, like, the storage sizes are even bigger, and it's even harder to, like, burn, like, the right stuff to it, because I don't think you could burn CDs to 360 legitimately. But here's the thing, right? The category is in its own corner. It's banned from everything except for fucking Xbox any %. So it's literally in the corner, like, not hurting a soul, is the thing. It is just another category to play, and there's effectively zero downsides. The only downside is that it's arbitrary. Although even just banning it outright would be arbitrary, but that clearly now, you need to, like, the only correct options with this are either just letting it sit in fucking basically Xbox any % and nowhere else, just not allowing it to touch anything except for Xbox any %, or banning it for everything, just outright, so that it's less arbitrary. Those are the only correct options, and there's just no downsides to just allowing it in its own little bubble, except for, like, yeah, it's arbitrary, bruv. Everything we do is arbitrary. When we start the time, when we end time, it's all arbitrary. The rules that we have they're arbitrary. Like, although if for some reason there was, like, if out of nowhere the vast majority of the player base are like, we either need to ban it from everything or allow it for everything, except for obviously no port storage and no major glitches, because, like, the whole entire point is that you can't do, like, port storage. But, like, it's so basically it'd be like, you have to allow it for all tokens and hundo if you also allow it for any %, or you ban it from all of them. Then yeah, then the only correct option is to ban it from everything. But there's just no, I don't see that kind of, like, that's not, you know, realistic. So yeah, the only good way of doing it is by modding your Xbox, which creates an equivalent, and then makes it really easy. So that's basically the situation, is there's no reason to not allow it unless you make the arbitrary argument, in which case then the only good option would be banning it outright, but there's just no point right now. Alright, so the next one is, well, controller tier list. I can see that I put the NES controller in never used. I have used it since. It's like completely fine. I'd probably put in like fucking high C or some shit. It's like, it's too rectangular. It needs like smooth edges, but it's not that bad. It's like, I almost appreciate its simplicity, and I like the colors on it. But anyway, well, there is why playing close to Sob is so difficult. And it's because of, like, variances as well as difficulty. Recently I've been prioritizing consistency more. Like, I don't do, like, the fast bungee death strat in 3K, I just do the practically free one that's, like, 2 seconds slower, but it's literally, like, nearly 50% more consistent for it being free and only losing 2 seconds, like... You know what I mean? But yeah, like, I don't do truck skip anymore. I buffer the creek token. I do an easier version of speed boost. Like, they're just focusing. Obviously, like, speed is incredibly important, but like, speed relative to the consistency drop is what matters. So yeah. Talking about anime, I don't really think we need to go over that one. Like, yeah, I've seen more anime and I give more detailed reviews. Like, I'm currently watching Uma Musume Season 3. I rewatched, like, One Punch Man recently. Like, I don't, you know. I watched Dan to Dan. It's hard to remember everything. Higurashi, currently watching. Watched Anohana, You'll Lie in April. Rewatched My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute. It's pretty much as bad as I remember, maybe even worse, bro, not gonna lie. Etc, etc, nobody fucking cares. How much realistic time save does your PB have? Again, that's a kind of the same thing. But the idea was, like, I never understood, because this is such an SM64 runner thing, but, like, when they list their time saves, they're always basing it off of, like, how many seconds are off of their gold, which is, like, completely unreasonable, especially when it's, like, well, let's apply this to movie. It's, like, alright, no cheese, like, no time save. Depression, no time save. Sandwich driving, no time save. 3K, 4 seconds. And then just continuously no time save again and again and again until Now That We're Men. And it's like, okay, yeah, the 4 seconds in 3K, let's say it's, like, pretty easy time. To even save, like, 3 of those seconds, let's say it's borderline free, right? And, well, it's like, yeah, but then you need to be even going into 3K, save those 3 seconds, and then play to your PB until Now That We're Men, and then maintain that lead. Like, so I'm not really saying anything new compared to before. I'm just basically giving a TLDR on what that video was, on, like, because that can also be used as almost like a guide on, like, how to make good pace splits, because good pace splits should not have 0.2 seconds off of your no cheese gold. You know what I mean? But yeah, TSSM category tier list. The only thing that's been added to, but yeah, the only new category since then, I think, is literally just, I put fucking power percent in D. I'm not surprised, that shit sucked. That's an old category. Only real ones remember that, bro. Anyway, the only new one is NLR, and I was gonna analyze it, but I was waiting for Chatter to get, like, a solid run, and I think he could improve, especially because it's 5900, that's, like, unsatisfying now, so I want to wait until he has, like, I don't need it to be, like, 10 out of 10, but, I don't know, like, I want it to be at least, like, a 58 something, you know? Unless, at that point, like, 57 or lower is, like, so easy that it's just, like, you just gotta wait until, you know? Because I do want to do an analysis video on that. It'd be, like, my least analysis video, because I've never played the category, but I do understand the gist of it, and obviously there's still gonna be, like, movement and strats and stuff that I recognize, and, you know, they can give an estimate on, like, how low it could go and stuff like that. And it'll be interesting as well, because, like, there's some things that are exclusive to the category, so it'd just be interesting, from my other analysis videos, yeah. So, I'd probably put in, like, B or something, but, like, I don't actually know, because at the end of the day, you can only play it on GameCube, and it's fucking GameCube, so it immediately brings it down at least 1 tier, like, automatically. And then, like, the trick, the tech is kind of just, like, annoying to do. And because it's on extensions, like, the problem with extensions categories is that if they have, like, unique strats that you need to learn specifically for them, people are just less likely to just run the category, because they can't be fucking asked, you know, to dedicate, like, a long time to grinding, like, a trick in a category for on extensions, you know? And NLR is a couple of those. But yeah, I'd probably put in, like, B, but I don't actually, like, know. Anyway, analyzing the sliding and driving IL world records, we're gonna spend a while on this, not because I need to, like, actually show you all of the fucking times, but, oh yeah, actually, no, it shouldn't be that long, but this was, like, a while ago, and some improvements have been made. I'm only gonna list the improvements, right? So, sandwich driving has gone from 207 to 205, just from better optimization. So, obviously, it has park out of bounds and ultimate sandwich out of bounds. Knucklehead has gone from 214 to 209 with the exact same strats. I probably with better nitro management, but yeah. So it just has like the Knucklehead out of bounds plus like Park out of bounds. Let's see, Gesk has gone down from 102 to 101 because, like, you do that I think they both have it, but you do that strat where you, like, damage yourself whilst doing Gesk jumps so that you can do a quick death on the TNT rather than drowning yourself, but Latte managed to do it. He managed to optimize it a bit more compared to the 102. I don't think... I guess I'll also do, like, predictions as well, but just gotta wait a sec. Sunday's gone down from 245 to 244. I should probably... Yeah. No, that's the wrong one. Wait, no. No, it is the right one. Yeah, so they've gone down... Yeah, Rockslide has gone down from 308 to 307, but only by technicality, because Latte did get 307, but it had no audio. So... yeah, and Latte doesn't want to get 307. So, I think Latte said that he tasked a 204, like, probably like low TAD, like low optimized TAS. So, I believe, if I remember correctly, he said the 204 is, like, possible. 26 Rubber Dub, I genuinely don't see that ever, literally ever dropping. Like, even like 10 years from now, like, the only way would be if we found some fucking Rubber Dub moon jump. Like, literally, like, what else could you possibly find? Weenie, I don't remember, TBH, but it's an old record, so maybe 242. Rockslide, obviously, we know we can get 306, and I don't think 307's possible with current strats. 244 Sunday, I don't remember. 101 Gesk, I really don't think there's any possible way it could go any lower. Again, other than like some fucked shit that we can't even imagine right now. And 209 Knucklehead can absolutely go lower. I'm not sure exactly how much lower, but like the strats are so hard. Probably like 207, 206. Now I'm going to finally show... I forgot to get a thing of it, I'll be right back. Actually, no, I don't need to be right back. I can literally just click on TSSM Archive. So this got found, like, recently. So look at idea. And then you do more navigation. My face when I navigate. And you do like a really wide turn, so this doesn't save as much, and you traversing out of bounds. But basically, oh, I didn't even, I thought it saved 0.3, but it saves 30 frames. And keep in mind, we don't know much about this because it only got found recently, but this, like, I feel like I know it'd probably take ages, but you could probably get a bit, because like, look, you could probably get bonked like more favorably. So you don't just, like, lose all of your fucking speed. I could honestly see this saving, like... Instead of, like, 0.5, I could see this saving, like, 0.7 or 0.75. But, so obviously, like, with this strat, like, obviously you could get a 204. 204 was already possible. I don't know if you could get 203. In a TAS, I don't know if you could. I'm not sure. This is really, 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 really hard, by the way. I fucked with this. You need, like, this exact angle. Like, just, like, the tiniest little bit too far left doesn't work. And if you go any further right, it doesn't work. This is so fucking insanely precise. If it really does only save 0.5, like, you can never save more than 0.5, I don't think 203 is possible. But I don't know, if you go like if you can get a more favorable version of this, I feel like it might be possible, but even then it might literally just be like TAS, like, and not low TAD, I mean like actual TAS. It's hard to say like how far things can go with like a TAS, because like, for example, I had like a high like 338 BBBH gold or something, and then I got a ledge grab in disco, but I still got a low 338 BBBH because I did the fight faster than I've ever done it before. And then I was like, okay, without the ledge grab and then a couple other theoretical things, like I could push it lower, and I got a high 337 recently. So, you know, I can just keep going and going. Apparently, but then I realized I do, especially for like a TAS, if it had like Xbox loads, but other than that, it's a TAS, it could go so fast and do like theoretical things that I'd like, there's like a couple theoretical strats in the run that you don't really like go for. And I was like, dude, you could probably get like a 332 BBBH in like a TAS. And that level is so linear and is mostly movement. Which just goes to show, or maybe like a 333, but it just goes to show, like, it makes you wonder, like, what could be possible in, like, a sliding and driving TAS. And I mean, like, again, like a proper, like, a TASer who, like, actually, like, is very experienced with TASes, and, like, they know the mechanics of the game inside and out, and, like, they optimize every fucking frame that they can find. So, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if 203 is, like, barely possible in a TAS, but... yeah. So I think that's all I wanted to say for the sliding and driving aisles. There are, like, the ring challenges, but, like, literally, who fucking cares? They almost never get optimized. It's just every few years or whatever, Latte will optimize one of them, or a couple of them by, like, a second or two. Like, it's literally... this is so inconvenient to practice. Like, no one cares. They have no strats, effectively. It's just nitro management and good movement, and these are only even worth attempting on Dolphin. Like, seriously attempting on Dolphin. Otherwise, you gotta make 2 save files, and it just takes forever, so... Anyway... why sliding and driving ILs replace platforming ILs? The platforming ILs kept, like, not getting improved, because they're inconvenient to set up, and, like, they're toxic because of the 2 frames and everything, or, like, lag clips. Whereas the sliding and driving ILs, they kept getting pushed. More strats kept getting found, and more people wanted to get good times in it. Like, it's just kind of interesting, because the sliding and driving ILs, they used to be on extensions, and years ago they swapped. And that isn't looking to change anytime soon. Especially because, like, ILs can be affected by loads as well. The platforming ILs, again, there's just, like, the whole, it's all, like, AIDS. There's no point, like, who cares? The complexity of loadless timing, don't really need to talk about that, because there's a follow-up video that's just basically just a better version of this. Analyzing the 59-57 segmented run, I know in that video I theorized how it could be pushed further. My current sum of best is 59-28. It would be 59-32, but I went out of my way to, like, get a good, like, Plank 2 gold just so I knew what I was capable of. Because beating that gold, the 140, it was 140.000, I'd, like, just beating that would be so fucking easy. So I basically just got a gold, which was basically perfect, except, I probably could have had slightly better sponge glide height by, like, frames, maybe save, like, 0.1, and then I had to guitar the statue 4 times instead of 3, so I know it's not perfect, which is why I want to just use it as, like, a base, because, that gold can literally only be applied to no pause storage, so it's not like I'm, you know, it was just to see, like, okay, what would my sob be, just so I'm not, like, you know. So yeah, the sub in the span of, like, 2 years plus, like, a couple months, 2 years plus a few months, it has gone down by, 29 seconds. And I hope it gets pushed 29 seconds more, because then it'll be 58 summer best, but obviously with current strats, that's just, like, not happening. Ah, fuck, I hit my eye, fuck. Dude, I was messing with, like, a thing, just playing with it, and it fucking hit my eye. Bruh. What was I saying? I barely remember now, because my eye feels heavy and bad. Oh yeah, I can improve here monster by at least 1.5 seconds. I could improve plank 2 by, like, probably half a second or some shit. So that's, like, 2 seconds. I know I can push BBBH further, but I just don't, it's unrealistic, but eventually, with, like, that stupid, like, slide jump strat, I could, or just getting basically the same gold as my one BBBH that got a ledge grab, but without the ledge grab. So I can maybe improve that by, like, a second, so it's, like, 3 seconds. If we can find a way to make Patrick ledge grab consistent in plank 1, then that's another, like, second plus. If I do the fast bungee death in 3K, then that's another 2 seconds. That's kind of... There is a toilet skip ledge grab thing, but it's fucking abysmal. I can't really think of anything else. I know I could gold Sunday, but when I say that, I mean by, like, literally, like, 0.2, so... I can theoretically see the path to a 59 1x sum of best, but... And then, again, if, like, weenie out of bounds becomes consistent, then... Even if it's incredibly unrealistic, even, like, my sum of best would eventually improve by 9 seconds, so then... Plus everything else, then it could get down to 0x, but now we're talking, like, you know, hypotheticals. Not even, like, within the realm of reasonability, some of those things. How useful would cruise boosting be? It is basically just... Nothing has changed since then. Basically, the TLDR was that it'd be pretty fucking useless because of how linear the game is and when you unlock guitar. But it would be even worse now, because the top level NMG routes don't even, like... Oh, wait, no, I was about to... Yeah, no, you don't even do BBBH backwards. That would have been, like, a small time save. So yeah, it would just save, like, fucking nothing in most categories, and close to nothing in the remainder for the most part. TSSM no pole storage practice commentary run. 102 was not bad. I would expect to get a little better now because that's 2 minutes behind the current world record. Although I wouldn't do the token deaths because they're RNG, I would not do that in a practice thing. But I would still, I don't know what I would expect exactly, but probably like a high 101, like a very high, or at least like a 102 OX or some shit. TSSM's greatest runs, which are the best? I think I said it was either like, my 129 or Cole's like 138. But there are a few runs that I think could be thrown into the ring now. The 1 flat 49, it was the first no pause storage run to play within a minute of Sob, and I wasn't even going for 1 flat at the time. I didn't even really know it was really doable, or at least, I didn't think I could do it at least, within any sort of reason, and I straight up, like, I skipped OX and I skipped 5X, and I just went straight to 49, which is nuts. Then the other contender is the 1 flat 26, because that run, it doesn't feel better, but it, like, objectively is better. The Sob is even more optimized now, right? It's even more optimized, and there's even more strats, and yet I played even closer to Sob, like, it is, like, objectively better, but for some reason it doesn't feel it, probably just because I was playing the game weekly, so I kind of shut out that run. Although even the 1 flat 49 was a fluke, but I think it was a fluke in its own way, because then, after that run, it's like, okay, because that was a minute barrier achievement, and we didn't even know, like, it was possible to play within a minute of Sob in this category, but now we knew both those things, although I got it down to a mid 1 flat, which is really good, and if I can improve my time by 7 seconds, then I'll get it down to a low 1 flat, which would be crazy. Then the 221-26 in Hundo, which is a really good run all around. Like, I played within 2 minutes of Sob, which is pretty good. There's been a few improvements since then, so I could improve it, but even now I just don't want to because the run's, like, pretty good. Other than the 1 flat 26 is my best run on the leaderboards, even now, despite the run being over a year old, and it being the longest category, which therefore means it has, like, technically the most room for improvement. And I want to give an honorable mention to my all tokens PB. Now it's just not good at all, but it's like okay-ish, kind of. It's like a 6 out of 10, probably. But when I got that run, it was so fucking good. Like, about around as good as the 1 flat 49. I made a really stupid mistake in Now Though Men, that's literally free time save, and I made a stupid mistake in, Guesk, which is basically free time save, and then on top of that, like, the combat strats that exist now, and the token deaths, and just, like, the improved skill level and consistency gold potential, like, but at the end of the day, it's still, like, a long, difficult category where I got, like, for not having Now Though Men combat strats, the Now Though Men combat was fast, I got 7 Sunday jumps, like, again, like, the run for the time was so fucking good. I can't stress enough how good the run actually was. It was crazy. But yeah. I would just throw that in honorable mentions because, like, at least the 1 flat 49 is still, like, a pretty decent run to this day, and the 1 flat 26 is currently really good, and the 221-26 is still good. The all tokens run now is not even good, is the thing. So yeah. What's next? Analyzing the platforming IL world records. Okay, so we aren't doing that, obviously, but I just want to say what times, like, got improved since that video. So, Depression all tokens went from a 456 to a 451. Depression 100% went from a 559 to a 557. 3K all tokens went from a 359 to a 348, which is just because of the lag clip. Like the steamed lag clip they do right after Bungie. 3K 100% went from 435 to 422 for the same reason. BBBH 100, and this was a very recent thing that I did. BBBH 100% went from 10 minutes exactly to 9:37. And the run wasn't even good. It was like, okay. Now Though Men 100% went from 7:02 to 6:04. That IL was actually pretty good. I can get a 5-minute time, but fuck me. I'd probably have to, like, not do buffers, or at least, like, some of the buffers, and then... Because you can save, like, 2 seconds pretty early in for not doing 2, but then you're making it way harder. I got the ledge grab skip for Quick Chris, like... I got, like, a pretty fast, like, floating block cycle. And the combat wasn't amazing, but it was still, like, pretty decent. I got a fast Merv kill, which saved it. Otherwise, it would have been kind of mid, but the fast Merv kill made it good. So I can get 5x, but it's not even worth doing until more time saves get discovered. And then finally, SCDA all tokens went from 648 to 637. I think the only thing that happened since then was block boost. And that's about everything. Yeah. Obviously, some of these, they can all go lower except for No Cheese all tokens, and probably, like, No Cheese all extras and No Cheese 100%, like, they probably can't go lower, but, like, all the ones afterwards can probably go lower. The bosses can't really go lower, so yeah. Anyway. No major glitches, routing history, plus theory routes. I think this was before removing... It was either before removing BBBH backwards, or it was, like, in its infancy. But yeah, to this day, you still do, like, the plank thing. Shadow looked into, like, what manlies you could get to get enough manlies for Ball and Now Though Men so that, you know, you can still do BBBH backwards. The thing is that a couple non-BBBH backwards time saves have been discovered since this video. And, yeah, we would need to do, like, another retiming, and that's really not what... But even then, even if it saves, like, 2 seconds, it's not worth it, because if you miss, like, any of those fucking manlies, you just don't have enough, so it's not worth it. It's literally just not worth it. Because of consistency and shit. It would need to save... Well, the manly route would need to be more lenient, and not inconsistent. And then it probably need to save, like, 5 seconds plus, so... Yeah. Let's see. TSSM's hardest tricks. I don't really think anything would be added to that now. I mean, obviously, like, the way I would have described some strats would be like, oh my god, this is so hard, and it's probably, like, not as bad anymore, but, yeah. Pokemon Generations tier list, I think this was before Scarlet and Violet? No, Scarlet and Violet were definitely a thing. Dude, Scarlet and Violet came out in early 2023, didn't they, I think? That's crazy. Are they really over 2.5 years old? I don't know. Whatever I ranked them, I probably wouldn't change them. BFB/TSSM, old strats replaced by easier/faster strats. So the whole thing there was, like, strats that were, like, hard, but they were replaced by easier strats because they were faster or because they're easier. It's a very unique concept. A lot of tricks just become lost media, effectively. Not literally, because you can just look back at older runs, but... yeah, a lot of strats just become completely unknown because they used to be done, but they don't get done anymore because of just completely different approach to something. For battle, I don't really know. I know they replaced Guppy LCB with Guppy UCB, but I don't know if it's actually, like, easier. It saves, like, 8 seconds or some shit, so they're doing it. But, I think that would apply to this video. To this video. I think it would apply. Like, it doesn't even have to be easier. If the difficulty is, like, barely harder for the 8 seconds to the point where it's like, okay, this is clearly worth it, then I would say, like, okay, but I don't know. It could be better to the point where nobody ever does Guppy LCB ever again, or it could be bad, but still worth it for the 8 seconds, like, I literally don't know. As for movie, I think the only thing would be just Spew Boost becoming easier. That's, like, the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head. TSSM theory strats / route ideas. This would be a pretty outdated video because I know I mentioned Weenie Out of Bounds, but I also mentioned, like, oh, what if we could kill the Monumental statue without Guitar? That's obviously not happening. But that's another thing. This was, like, when our knowledge with ball storage was much worse than it is now, and keep in mind we still don't know too much about it. So I was like, oh, what if you could do ball storage to, like, fuck stuff up in Plank? We know we can't do that now. But obviously theories are theories at the end of the day, so yeah, more Weenie Out of Bounds stuff. The ability to instantly skip a sliding or driving task with ball storage, which still should theoretically be possible. Maybe some Neptune, like, double hit or some shit, I don't know. I think there could maybe be a way to fuck with checkpoint triggers and driving levels, but it's hard to say. Probably not too relevant of a video these days. Alright, TSSM, why loadless plus hard drive loadless timing should be considered. So the idea with this, loadless has advantages and disadvantages. Hard drive has advantages and disadvantages. If you combine the two, most of the disadvantages are gone. Because, what's a disadvantage of hard drive, right? Well, you have to mod your Xbox and, like, you know, no more lag stuff. Those are, like, pretty big things. And, it makes the time difference between Xbox and other categories, like, even fucking worse than it already is. Like, it has an even bigger advantage. And another thing is that there's still load variance between hard drives. You can get, like, 2 hard drives, and there could be as much as, like, a 15-second difference between them, because you get, like, the slowest hard drive on one of them and the fastest hard drive on another one. Loadless removes most of those issues, because it's like, okay, no lag stuff, but, like, hard drive's main advantage is faster loads, and if disk effectively has equivalent loads because of loadless, then you can still do the lag stuff. Which means that disadvantage is gone. Load variance between hard drive doesn't matter anymore because it's loadless, you know. You don't have to mod your Xbox because, again, like, disk still is completely viable. That's the thing. With hard drive loadless, disk is still faster in, like, nearly every single category. I think it would pretty much just be, like, sheep%. Because, like, the lag on OG is just too good on disk. It's too good. But I don't know, I think realistically, like, we can't actually do this because how would you factor, like, in-game cutscenes and stuff? And, like, how long it takes, like, at the beginning of sliding and driving levels to, like, load, like, the cutscene, or just any, like, fly-through cutscene, but just cutscenes in general, even. And it would make the leaderboards an absolute fucking nightmare. I think it could only be done if we got, like, a PC port, and if we're getting a PC port, it's almost definitely unofficial, and therefore it would not be on the main leaderboards. So this is something that's probably, like, never actually gonna be done. But the other thing as well is that I kind of forgot, like, I think GameCube would be faster for some categories, and I don't like in speed games when there's, like, a bunch of different categories that have, like, different version, because it's like, oh, variety, but, like, no, it makes things more annoying, because getting used to that different version just to play a category, a lot of people won't even bother. So it's like, imagine, like, OG is fastest for no pulse storage, and then, like, I don't know, for some fucking reason, like, GameCube is fastest for NMG. And then I don't even know after that, like hard drive is fastest for all extras for literally no, like, you just don't know. Like, that could open a can of worms in, like, the very, very long term of just, like, and it would just be so annoying, because think about it, right? If you switch from hard drive to disk for a category, the loads are gonna feel slow. Even 6 seconds is not slow for a load, but it's gonna feel slow because you're used to, like, 3.5 second loads, or however fast it is, like 3 seconds. Which that is arguably a disadvantage anyway, because you know, disk is still gonna be, like, ideal. So you might be going from, like, a Thompson drive to like a Hitachi or whatever. So in the meantime, you're playing on hard drive, but then you switch to disk because it is still superior overall. And that is a big change to make, like, at top level, like, going from, like, hard drive to disk, like, so that you get, like, a 20-second advantage or whatever, no pulse storage, like, I don't know. It would just make things kind of fucky, so I don't... Well, we can't even do it anyway, but even if we had a tool that just automatically did everything for us, I don't think it would, like... I think we should consider it, but I don't know, I just don't think it'd be for the best for the game long term, but maybe I'm wrong. SpongeBob Games tier list, I don't even... when did Cosmic come out? I think Cosmic was already out. Yeah, it was. I can see Cosmic. That new Titans game is coming out next month. I bet it'll be better than Cosmic. That's my only... I don't remember where I put Cosmic. Probably in, like, B or something, or low A. But I would probably put... Because that game literally just looks like Cosmic, but, like, better. So, if I'm right... If it's literally just as good... Well, not as good, but if it's, like... I don't know. Like, just a bit better, then it's like, okay, yeah. Like... It'll probably be, like, second best SpongeBob game. Why all tokens / 100% Xbox pulse storage would suck. The TLDR is that, like, nobody actually, like, wants to do pulse storage. It's, like, fucking... It's really, like, agitating to do. Like, it doesn't feel good to do the same... Effectively the same tech / trick, whatever you want to call it, like, a dozen times, you know, only to fuck it up, like, 3 times and it's the end of the run. With pulse storage as well, in a lot of instances, if you fuck it up in the exact wrong way... Well, not even exact. With a lot of them, you need to warp to one specific place, and if you don't, well, either you need to skip 5 trillion fucking splits, and obviously that's just stupid, or the run is just immediately dead. And what it's doing is removing movement, aka skill, even tricks, because some movement is paired with tricks. So it's removing skill. It's literally just removing skill to do something that is visually not even appealing, that nobody wants to do. It is fucking stupid, and oh yeah, the routing would be a nightmare as well. I tried to make an old tokens pulse storage route, and it's just a fucking nightmare. Like, at least on GameCube and PS2, like, at least the tech is, like, more interesting because it's, like, harder. On Xbox, it's easy. But, like, the menuing is still, like, agitating. It's still, like, bad, you know? It still aids. Yeah. These fucking categories need to never, ever have Xbox pulse storage in them. Nothing has changed since then. It's literally just like, yeah, it's bad, and it needs to be out of those categories. Why guitar early would be terrible. When I made that video, I think I forgot to factor something. So, the beginning of the run, up to Now That We're Men, to the beginning of Now That We're Men, would be just no pause storage, right? I didn't get that wrong. That's still correct. You would need to do that fucking god-awful tunnel clip. You know, the one that no one's ever done in a speedrun before, and only one person's ever done it, just period. Like, yeah. Or you do the still terrible, much slower clip, which loses like 15 fucking seconds. But even that one still fucking sucks. It's still shitty. Yeah, it's still fucking trash. And if we ever find, like, a ball skip, then god fucking damn. I don't think so, though, because we need ball for the lobster. But that would make things, like, so much worse, because then you wouldn't even have enough manlies to upgrade ball at that point. But yeah. And it doesn't even end there. You don't just do that abysmal fucking tunnel clip. You would do throw skip in SCDA. We still need throw, I think? No. Yeah, we need throw. For the end of SCDA plus Dennis, but, oh, and, actually, yeah, that's all we need it for. But, so, I don't even know what, like, the route would be fucked, because you still need 25 tokens for SCDA, so I think you would literally, like, I think you would, like, get 20 into Nether Men, like, skip Bungee, but do the other tokens so that you have 24. Then do the throw skips to do Cirque, to get 25, then reload to the beginning of SCDA to get throw, and then warp back to Cirque. And then the rest of the run is early powers. Like, under the assumption that you would still unlock Guitar and Plank. So, again, like, the whole point was, like, literally, why would you play that over Early Powers? Because Early Powers has cool stuff in, like, No Cheese and Now the Men and 3K, and you can't even fucking do them because you don't have Guitar. And, as a matter of fact, you do this cancerous, like, tunnel thing that's abysmal, and then in SCDA, you do something that's arguably just as bad, if not worse. The throw skip, the first one, is so fucking hard. Like, and upgraded car wheel makes it way worse, but it's like, if you don't have upgraded car wheel, then you're doing a way slower fucking frogfish. And it's like, come on, dude, you can't just, like, not upgrade. Like, you're gonna lose, like, literally, like, 20 plus seconds. Like, just to make it, like, a trick. Go from, like, the worst thing ever to, like, really bad. And then afterwards, you need to do a trick that's, like, a one-frame thing. And it loses a decent amount of time for missing it. It's so bad, dude. Like, the whole thing is just, like, bleh. I don't even know what to say. Like, hold on, I literally just thought of a time save in my head. I'll go look at it later. Let me write it down, brev. Okay. So, that's basically it. Is literally in, like, inferior early powers, unless, like, unless you really don't like the idea of playing a category with cheats, but even then it's still clearly, like, worse. There's no reason to ever play it. Like, the pacing is clearly, like, abysmal. Like, you do so much no pause storage-esque stuff that's literally just like, why don't you play no pause storage? And even on the early power side, it is objectively inferior early powers. And that's all there really is to it. TSSM's worst category, AWT CBC. I don't like the approach I took. Like, I didn't mean to, you know, go about it the way that I did, but I don't really have anything, like, new to say. I would just word it differently, but it's basically just the, like, it's like the most arbitrary category that's ever existed in speedrunning history, and we made it to cater to people who were not going to enjoy the game anyway, and we should have just done more. We should have not done that, and we should have made more of an effort to, you know, appeal to people who actually, like, you know, like the game. The current state of manliness points, I don't even know. Like, it was probably to do with NMG, but the manlies in, like, in most categories are fine. It's just that in NMG you're forced to reroute. If they're ever bad in all tokens, then we literally just do, like, rock slide early, which would suck, but yeah. Oh, I just realized how bad the Manleys would be in a guitar early route. Well, actually, yeah, no, it'd be really bad. If you do tunnel skip, like, yeah, it'd be really fucking bad. Like, really bad. God damn. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know, yeah, I can't talk. ETU, it's, like, kind of fucked, because you have to do a terrible route. AWT, it's not fucked anymore, because we just guitar the plank stack. Early powers, it's, like, on the kind of bordering being fucked, but I think it's fine now. Yeah. It's just like, who cares? Like, it's just like, the Manleys are mostly fine, and they'll remain fine for a while in most categories, so it's like, whatever. Nothing to say about the Analyze in the 5820 run. TSSM second worst category, early task unlocks. I wouldn't even say that anymore, I think it's AWT. But ETU has... ETU's more about it just having, like, less reason to exist now, because the idea of it was, like, Mindy Skip before Mindy Skip. It literally has more sliding and driving than a no-pull storage. It's so funny. It's not a terrible category, but it's just been made worse by, like, terrible, like, the dentist thing, and again, because you warp everywhere, like, you skip movement, and yeah, but it's like an okay, it's just playing as horrible. My top 25 favorite games, I barely play games. I barely play video games, so I don't really... Since this video, I've played Persona 3 Reload. It would probably be in... It'd probably be in the video. I don't think I would add anything else. That's kind of funny. Scala and Violet are really good games on Switch 2, so that's something to consider. I should have put Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in that list. I'm surprised I didn't. Oh, Donkey Kong Bonanza. How could I forget? That would definitely be in there. I'm not sure what it would replace, but it would definitely be in there. I don't think we need to go over Bob's Burgers situation is insane, or Stephen Hawking's situation keeps getting worse. I don't think we need to go over that, or talking about anime for an hour. The mind-body prescription, the theory of, like, most chronic pain being a result of repressed emotions and an oversensitive brain trying to protect you. The only when I made that video, I think I was recovering from laryngitis, or maybe I had, like, just recovered. I'm not entirely sure. The only thing I need to add since then is that I had fucking tooth pain. I felt a small chip in my tooth, and like, a few hours later, it was, you know, 24/7 pain, you know how it goes. I thought the dentist, like, fixed it, because I didn't look over, like, I think there was a miscommunication thing, but it was definitely on his fucking end, but yeah, there's a miscommunication between me and him. I thought he, like, removed the chip. But no, he just smoothed it, he smoothed the filling out. And when I couldn't feel the filling anymore, or when I couldn't feel the chip on the filling, the pain went away in, like, 3 days. Then I felt it again, and the pain came back a few hours later. And then I went back there, and he was like, bro, I didn't even get rid of the chip. I just smoothed out, like, around the chip. And then it took a while. Like, this was, like, the good thing, even though, like, this shit happens to me, like, a lot, because, you know, it's, like, my eyes, my neck, my hands, my wrists, my back. Like, it's happened to a lot of my body, a lot of parts of my body. But the good thing is I usually recover pretty quickly. Some people it takes, like, months. And yeah, like, I still recover quickly. But I think this was, like, the longest one. It took, like, a week and a half or 2 weeks. Like, it took a while. I want to say, like, a week and a half. There's still times where, like, slightly flares, but I know, obviously, to reassure myself. You know what the stupid thing is? Like, the stupid thing about it is that, like, I'm not gonna, like, that tooth is barely tooth anymore. It's mostly filling. That tooth is, like, kind of fucked. And it's not even... Like, I know eventually, it's like, yeah, years from now, like, the chip is gonna get worse, or, you know, the filling, like, I'll just need to get the entire tooth removed at some point, which I don't want, but obviously, like, I know. that can happen. Like, but like, again, the chip is so tiny. It is so tiny and nowhere near nerves. It's nowhere near any nerves. So how, like, pain? Like, that's some fucking bullshit, right? So, yeah, that's basically, that's the update, is that it happened again. I fell for it again award, and then I overcame it in like a week and a half or some shit. I can't wait to see what it throws at me next. Why I think all tokens should be on extensions. I still think it should be on extensions. I did realize that the boards would be slightly, I mean, not really. You got 6 main categories, like, technically 7, but I'll just say 6. So we got 6 main categories, that's not even, like, bad. Reducing it to 5 wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I still think it should be on extensions. Literally nobody agrees with me. There is basically nothing different about all tokens. Anything different it does to no major glitches, Hundo just does at least the exact same or better. And then anything it does differently from Hundo, NMG does better. Like, there is literally, the only thing it has going for it is BBBH backwards, which most NMG players still have, and AWT has it as well, which granted, that's in a category that nobody plays, but nobody plays all tokens either. Like, literally the only value to this fucking category is, like, I want to do BBBH backwards, but, like, I also want to do, like, a long run, but also, like, I don't want to do toast early, brev. That's literally what it is. It's literally, like, I can't be asked to remember extra locations, I don't want to do toast early. And I still want to do a run that basically feels like I'm doing 100%. I still don't think it should be, I really, really do not believe it should be on main. If anything, I'd rather have NLR on main, but yeah. I understand, like, I don't know, because, like, these categories are meant to, like, represent the game, and, like, what is this representing? It's representing people who are, like, really picky. Like, is that really a good representation of the game, you know what I mean? But I don't really have anything to add, it's just same as always. Analyzing Vaz's 106.14 no port storage run, he now has a 104.54, so hallelujah. He learned from the video, I don't actually know if he watched the video, but he improved his time, that's what matters. The positive and negative effects of ball storage, this is before November 2024 when Resin came to the rescue and told us how shit works. Yeah, so the video is kind of outdated because it's like, oh, chains, blah, blah, blah. Like, we know shit's different now. If anything, it's, like, technically kind of worse than before, but it's better because, like, we know then, like, definitively, like, okay, this shit's not inconsistent. Like, it actually, like... And at the time, we thought that, like, foreign versions of the game could do ball storage. We know now that that's no longer, that's not the case. So it's just like English Xbox, English PS2, and even then for PS2, like, I only give a fuck about Mindy Skip. For Xbox, the only thing we're really looking for is to skip a sliding or driving task, which is looking really bad. So it's still, I can still make a follow-up video, but there's kind of no point. Well, I did make a follow-up video, but there's no follow-up I can really make now other than like, it's still abysmal, but for, like, different reasons. But we now know how Mindy Skip works, and that is a big... Even if, like, the way of having to account for, you know, the loads is, like, annoying, it's still, you know... Ranking movie mashup levels probably wouldn't change. BFB mix, yeah, probably wouldn't change. Nintendo Direct, who cares? How the run is different and similar after several years. It's about the game being, like, linear. So structurally, it hasn't really changed much. But it feels different because it's like Sha in the sense that it just keeps getting, like, time saves. Like, I don't know. There are runs where, like, they've changed identity over the years to be, like, to the point where they almost feel like different games. Maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but, like that happened in Battle, between, like, 2016 to, like, 2021, maybe. It just kept happening over and over again. Actually, no, I'd say, like, 2018 to, like, 2021-ish, it kept happening. And that's not, like, even, like, a bad thing. It's just, like, a subjective thing. Because that allows you to, like, come back fresh to Battle, like, every single time and get a new experience and easily PB. But I don't know, I like familiarity. I like just being able to, like, come back and everything's, like, how I remember it, except it's like, okay, you can do these time saves if you want. You know, I like that. I think it's cool. But obviously that makes it, like, less flashy and stuff. But there isn't really anything I would add. It's just, yeah, even more stuff has been found since then, but the run still feels similar as always. History of the combat arena challenges, nothing's changed except... I think the only thing that's changed is that in Depression combat, you do want to use upgraded guitar. I changed the NMG route so I could do upgraded guitar shenanigans, but you don't have to do that. It's not like objectively faster. It's just that, like, it makes it easier to play closer to the gold. So it is like, well, yeah, like in a task you could probably just get away like with perfect RNG, just getting, but you know, consistency. I mentioned consistency earlier. Because this route like roughly breaks even anyways. There's no reason to just, because there is an alternate route you can do instead, where you do SCDA Sponge Bowl later. But again, I think they about break even, and this is just like better, like because it's consistent. No major glitches guide follow-up is still relevant. I missed the breast situation is tragic. That's fucking true as fuck. Well, it's especially tragic now, bro. Mr. Breast, like, everybody loved him, and now everybody hates him. I mean, I know why. It's just like funny, like just how much the opinion has changed. Because like I'd say like 90+% of the internet liked him, and now it feels like it's like 15% or 20. Analyzing the 221 run, yeah, just a few more strats. I already mentioned them earlier. The run's still really good. I don't really feel capable of 220. Top 10 favorite SpongeBob mods / hacks. I literally wrote down the top 10 that I had in the video. I had some honorable mentions like Second Strike and stuff, and Graveyard of Lakes, I think it's called. And a couple others, but I'll tell you the top 10, from 10 to 1. We have Strawberry Lake, Five Nights at BFB, Careful SpongeBob, Pit of 100 Trials, Floating Block Forever, Short Mod B, Valley of the Lost, Clock Dimension, Mashup, and Mechs. And I just wanted to update that, not give a definitive list, but just more mods that I would add either to the honorable mentions or to the top 10. BFB Deluxe Demo, Schoolyard Cruising, which is like a frogfish style, like no Winnie Parking / frogfish style like driving level. It's really cool. BFB Deluxe is just like adding 100 more spatulas to the base game, like a few new areas, new NPCs to talk to, new objectives within the levels themselves. I don't know how to pronounce this, like No Mansian Delivery. It's an Incredibles level. It's really well done. Oh, I should also... BFB Deluxe is made by Gravity. Schoolyard Cruising is made by Milkman. No Mansian Delivery is made by Double H. Super SpongeBob Wagon. There's like 2 or 3 demos for it. It's basically Mario Kart. And Koopa's like... I don't think he's working on it like right now, but I think he works on it like on and off. But yeah, that's made by Koopa Eliminator, and there's some cool shit in there for sure. And the BFB Beta mod made by TLL. Like, all of those would either be in the honorable mentions or the top 10. I think Schoolyard Cruising would be in the top 10. I'd be reluctant to put Deluxe Demo in the top 10 just because, like, I know the full game is gonna be, like, better. But, yeah. And Super SpongeBob Wagon is just, like, demos right now, so... yeah. And the beta mod is cool, but it's not, like, something I'd be looking to replay, like everything I mentioned in the top 10. I could easily replay, like, all of those pretty much whenever I want. Like, the one I want to replay the least when looking at these is probably, like, Pit of 100 Trials, and I still think it's... well, actually, probably Careful SpongeBob, because I'm bad at it. And I'd still... would probably... just be... like, I'm not, you know, discrediting TLL. Is just that, like, it's a pretty, like, specific thing. It's, like, a whole... the entire point of it is, like, novelty, you know? Reacting to Homer of Steel's 1:16:48. The world record now is like a 1:15 something, but I'm not sure like what specifically has changed about the run. What if TSSM were on Series X, PC, and or PS5? I don't think anything's changed there. It's basically just that it'd suck, because then it'd be, like, pay-to-win fucking annoying. But even if it's on PC, they would probably port the PS2 version, and that would just be AIDS. Although it'd be nice to, then be able to test even more ball storage stuff, like, more easily. Although if they ported the Xbox, but then we can't do lag, so it's like, bruh. I don't think it's worth it, basically, but I'm worried that there will one day be a day, like, on, like, a new Xbox console where it's, like, it's on, with movies compatible on it, and it's, like, the fastest version. I'm gonna hate that, dude. It's gonna be the worst. Although, with recent rumors, especially with how Xbox has been fumbling recently, Microsoft has been fumbling on the Xbox, there's rumors that they're not even gonna make, like, a new console, and they're just gonna be software. But even then, they could still, like, port the, as long as they get permission, I think they might be able to, like, port the Xbox version of the movie to, like, I don't know, I don't fucking know, I'm just saying, I'm just word salad. Analyzing Sam's 103.56 and no port storage, it has gone down to 102.52? Yeah. Matter of fact, this run is slower than Chris's run. And it's very close to Oofsta's still, like, it hasn't changed, and Vaz. Ball storage predictions / possibilities. This was made after Resin came to the rescue. So I said that there were 2 theories on how to instantly skip a sliding or driving task. One of them got proven literally impossible, and the other one is plausible, is how it was described as plausible, but Resin doesn't think that the stars could align. There are out-of-bounds triggers in Sunday. One of them, if you pass it, it will just completely objective that you're on, except for Ring. But all the other ones, it'll just immediately, like, activate the end level trigger. And then there's one specifically for the first time challenge. So if you could rise any of those to coordinates y equals 0, or stretch it, then stretch it on the y coordinate, then that'd be perfect. Resin said that because of the way it works, he doesn't think it should be possible, but we've proven on PS2 that it is possible. But that's the thing, it's on PS2, that's the problem. I just, like, I don't know. Basically, what got found is that, a Hans trigger, it either got moved or it got elevated. I don't know which one. I think it got elevated, but I'm not 100%. In Knucklehead, it got either moved or elevated. And elevation is what we need, so, like, that'd be perfect. But that's on PS2. It's possible that that's, like, it is possible on Xbox, but, like, we'll never find, like, the right effect for it, like, ever. We don't have any sort of, like, way to, like, figure out how PS2 well, Resin said he wants to look into it, but I don't know how he's gonna do that, because, PCSX2 is inaccurate. I don't know if it's inaccurate in the sense of how it writes to memory, because as long as you have the memory address, then maybe you can... I don't know, like, I genuinely just don't know. That's the problem. I literally just do not know. But we have proven without a shadow of a doubt that we can move a trigger on PS2. So it might maybe be possible on Xbox. The other thing as well is that a rock slide, like, effect got found. It's hard to describe exactly what it does, but there's, like, this crab monster in Rockslide, and it's supposed to, like, it appears, and then it's supposed to, like, you know, descend. It's supposed to hide back into the bottomless pit by the time you reach it. The effect has it so that it doesn't do that. Like, you actually run into it and take damage. I didn't even know you could take damage on it. So I think the trigger might have been manipulated. It either got moved, like, further back, or its timer got extended. But either way, it's definitely, almost definitely doing one of those 2 things. It's also possible that actually, no, that wouldn't really... Well, maybe, like, the lobster... Nah, that wouldn't... Because we're definitely entering the trigger. Yeah, so either its timer gets extended, the trigger gets expanded, so that you're constantly resetting its timer until it, like, yeah, so it either moved or got expanded or it got extended beyond 2 seconds or however long it's supposed to be. I might actually God, I feel bad whenever I ask Resin for anything, but I don't even know if it'd be possible for me to like ask him like what exactly is good. But if we could prove like okay, because it wouldn't be on the y-axis to be fair, but if it's at least if it did at least move, then that's still proof in itself of like, yeah, we can move, and that's not a Hans trigger either. That's just a trigger, which should mean that it should be possible on Sunday. Because I should tackle Sunday again to test, but it's very slow to test. It's very slow to test, and it might not be possible, which is why I don't want to. So either I gotta wait until, but even if Resin, like, looks into the PS2 thing and he's like, yep, like, based on how it works, like PS2 bowl storage doesn't work too differently from Xbox, so I guess it should be possible. I don't know, like, until it's proven on Xbox, I still don't really want to tackle Sunday again. And even if it could theoretically exist, there's no guarantee it would exist, and even then, it might only save, like, 10 seconds, but still, like, that is, like, the next level I want to test if we can prove, like, yeah, no, we could definitely, it is still possible to, like, move any trigger on the Y-axis. But it could just be a PS2 thing, or just whatever, you know? I got lost in the sauce just then. But yeah, I don't know if I mentioned PS2 bowl storage. Mindy Skip is not looking to be doable on PS2. I'm only testing 20 loads per chain. But I'm done with default costume and nothing. Other than the Hans trigger thing, like, nothing got found. You can test, like, 90 plus loads, though, but obviously I'm not doing that. Like, if it takes, like, 50 plus loads, like, literally nobody, like, there'd be, like, at most, like, one person who does it for a meme, and then, like, that's it. Like, if you want people to, like, actually be able to, like, get into the game on PS2, it needs to be, like, even 20 is, like, a kind of high. Yeah, like, I think the max would be, like, 25, but usually what happens is that they'll crash in, like, the early 20s or late teens, so I'm just like, fuck it, I'm not testing this anymore. Because, like, the amount of time it takes to test on PS2 is fucking abysmal, because we can't use PCSX2. So, yeah. It's not looking good, but obviously, with Plain Sponge, with Mermaid Man, the only levels that have been tested, like, thoroughly are No Cheese and Depression Combat, so it's still a possibility, but the other reason why I don't think it's possible is because on Xbox, 2 levels that have proven to not have Mindy Skip corruption effects, like Mindy Skip-like effects, are Rubber Dub and Sunday. On PS2, the only 2 levels to have proven to have a Mindy Skip-like effect in sliding and driving levels are Rubber Dub and Sunday. Lamau. And if it appears to not exist on Knucklehead, then... Because my theory is that it's tackling just an opposite... I don't know how to word it, but, like... It's just tackling a completely different part of memory, in my opinion. I think that's what's going on. Like, opposites, almost. And if not opposites, then it's just tackling a different part of memory. And, you know, based off of, like, the fact that PS2 just consistently is just getting, like, different effects from what Xbox does in these levels. Like, yeah, the only ones... Like, granted, PS2 testing has not gone that far, to be fair. But, like... It would make sense, based off of the evidence that we have so far. But even if it's not true, at the end of the day, we know from Xbox that it's still possible for these levels to not have the effect. At the very least, it just did not have them. And Knucklehead, so clearly then it's still possible for Knucklehead to not have it, even then. But yeah, it's not looking good, but I'll still keep trying. I do a chain every day. That's what I like to do, so that it isn't like 2 aids. Movie Cheap Percent tutorial, the only thing that's changed is that you can stand closer to the spotlights instead of having it back against crabs, but that saves like nearly nothing. Why cheat 100% will never be good, I don't really think that's changed. Crow still has a 109.52, but there's probably, like, I don't know, like, they said that they wanted to come back, they said recently, so we'll see how that goes. I will say, by the way, that, top 19 is fucking 109, which is nuts. And, a couple people are playing, so... we could, like, rolled very recently, got 109, but yeah, like, obviously, like, sub 110 is, like, inevitable. It's top 20 sub 110 is literally inevitable, but we don't know who's gonna be the one to do it. When will 59 happen and no pause storage? In about 2 years, 20-something seconds of time save has been found, so if we're basing it off that, then it'll take another 2 years. Like, just like late 2027, if we're going at this exact pace. Because nothing got found for ages, and then, this year, like, more stuff has been found again. But that's just kind of what happens, like, a bunch of, like, stuff gets found, and then, like, nothing gets found for ages, and then, yeah. So, yeah, I think that's a fairly... Like, I can get, like, a 1x, but fuck me, would it be really, really hard. Especially if we're playing weekly, bro, fuck that. But I can get, like, a 1 flat, like, 18, it'd just be so fucking AIDS. Definitely the best run I've ever done in my life to get a... Because even that 1 flat 26 is probably the best run I've done in my life. Again, even though it doesn't feel like it probably is, so... Getting an... I do want to get a low 1 flat, because, you know, it's a low one... You know, it's the, like, final barrier, effectively, to get. I mean, obviously you could get OX, but that's different. When I say barrier, you know, like high, mid, low. I got a high 1 flat, I got a mid 1 flat, and now if I could get a low 1 flat, like that's big, you know, like, that's really cool. And I did a ball storage rant. Yeah, I don't think I have anything new to say about ball storage. But yeah. Early powers practice commentary, I would expect a bit. That was just, I wasn't back. I was still rusty in the game when I made the video, so I could definitely get a better run now. And Planka's gone a bit faster as well since I made that video. Analyzing Latte's 1407, he immediately improved it, like a day or two after with a 1352. This run is insanely good. Like so good to where if he got like a really good weenie out of bounds and then like played a tiny bit better, he could literally get a world record, but he doesn't want to play the category again, which makes sense. Like, but this run is like really good. I did say something about like needing to like test his loads after the video. He has a Hitachi. It had like bad loads for like 1 load, I think, in the other, but in this run, like they were good. But, yeah, it saved like a small amount of time on me in the run. It is crazy that I'm surprised that top 5 is 13. Like, I didn't know that until someone said it. Like, I guess I just wasn't paying attention. Speedrun tier lists? Oh, for like which, like, oh, like ranking now the men's 100% or whatever, yeah. Wouldn't really change. 3K got arguably a little worse, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to like pause the recording in a minute, by the way, because I gotta make food. And I actually do like need to make food now, or else I just can't for like an hour. History of the sliding and driving segments / ILs. I've improved a couple golds. I did show you like the sandwich driving thing, but obviously that's PAL GameCube. I will show this just because, like, I feel like if anything happens with Weenie Out of Bounds, this is going to be used as a base. So look where it says new. I cannot stress enough though, that both steps of this are fucking literally physically impossible on NTSCOG with current knowledge. Alright, watch this. We aren't even done. And now watch this. Vaz found this, by the way, and he's using save states for this, in case you're wondering, like, why it's as fast as it is. Like, that was the worst thing I've seen in my life. I don't want to go into, like, a ton of detail, considering NTSCOG, like, literally can't do it, but this saves 39 seconds over a really, really good attempt of regular out of bounds. No, yeah, it saves like 39, I think. Oh, wait, no, I misremembered. It saves 30, but it saves 39 compared to no out of bounds, that's what it was. So, yeah, 39 is what it saves. Obviously, if you get thrown too far right, I think you're fucked. If you get thrown too far left, you get soft locked, so you're fucked. And then this, obviously, was just like, this is finicky as fuck by the looks of it. I think we could, and then Latte found a different way to get out of bounds that he estimates probably loses like 20 something, but it looks abysmal. He said that even that probably isn't possible on NTSCOG, and then even then, like, this would still be well, I think this is impossible on NTSCOG, I'm pretty sure Latte said. But if I'm misremembering, then either way, like, yeah, it's not looking good, but I still think this could be used as a base. I even tried it on, like, 360, and I was struggling, I couldn't get the height, so it just goes to show. Even on PAL GameCube, Vaz described it as 0% consistent. He literally said 0 fucking percent consistent, which is funny. Anyway, I gotta stop making food, I'll be right back. I'm temporarily back. I don't know if I'll be able to finish this in time, I might need to take a big break just to do, like, 3 minutes. Yeah, so... TSSM Cheetah, nothing to say. The minute barrier order predictions, I don't remember the order, but right now it's looking like it's going to be 118 and no major glitches. It's obviously either going to be that, NLR, or Xbox 90%, but on a, like, at this rate it'll probably be NMG. Because I just play the game more often than Sky and Shadow do. Speedrunning history of 3K, the only thing that's changed since then is that we know that the token deaths are RNG. It's like an 18.5% chance or a 17.5% chance per death. So the chance of dying within the getting the bad explode animation within 2 deaths is, 31.9%, which is basically 32, which you could argue is pretty much 33. So a third. Almost. Nobody should do this, really, except for me. Yeah, just don't fucking do it. The harder bungee thing, we kind of realized, like, it's not as bad as we thought, because, part of the problem was not having time, but you can literally just spam A. Like, that does make it harder to, like, set it up, but even if you do the second damage thing kind of slow, as long as you don't do it, like, super slow, or, like, weirdly slow, like, pretty below average, and then, if I could talk. Then you just, like, spam A, and then hopefully you just get it, but I still just don't want to do it in my runs. TSSM's best worst trick, weenie out of bounds, yeah, just add, not this, just add this to it. I think some version of this will probably be the future of the trick. Probably. Speedrunning history of Now That We're Men, I don't think this video had, like, that, easier tunnel clip thing I was talking about, like the old Jaxler one. But it's still really bad, it's still just not really very viable, and then nothing else, there's nothing else to say, other than, like, I guess something got found with, like, bungee ball stuff, with, like, how it changes, like, routes. In No Major Glitches, you just move Now That We're Men bungee to later, so that it just doesn't cause issues. And in No Pause Storage, you either do SCDA, circulate before Sunday, and then it can only crash on multiples of 4, or you do Spongeball before Sunday, which sucks, but yeah, that's what you do. Speedrunning history of these hasn't really changed. Except for Neptune again, like the spotlight thing. Speedrunning history of SCDA, something actually has changed since I made this video. The TNT damage boost strat. Which I can quickly show here. It saves upwards of, like, 2 seconds, so you pick up the TNT, and then you throw it against the wall, and then, like, during the explosion, you, like, hold down, and then you can either get slide frames, or you can buffer a 1-frame jump, because even then, it'll still save, like, a second if you buffer it. But that's the idea, so I could tell that I had enough speed, because that was the issue. So, this also changes your load count, which can affect no pole storage and, you know, the circ stuff, but for NMG, yeah, so as long as you don't need to get the toast extra, this just saves. Oh, and obviously, if we did do, like, a throw skip thing, then you wouldn't be able to do this, but yeah, this saves, quite a bit. well, 2 seconds, but, you know, that feels like quite a bit. But most of the time, you're looking to save 1 second with it because of the buffer, because the good thing is, like, I do purposely aim to go for the buffer, but if I don't stand close enough to the edge, and then I, like, to get that, like, if you're close to the edge, you'll get good slide frames, and then if you're too far back, you'll get bad slide frames, which means you might get a ledge grab skip, so, you know, so the only way you can lose time with this, really, well, obviously, other than outright fucking it up, is if you get slow jumps, and then you'll go in to get the ledge grab, but then you buffer anyway, and then still get the ledge grab. Although buffering gives you slightly more height, so it might be able to, like, avoid a ledge grab. But yeah, that's, like, the only way this can lose time compared to Circulate, other than outright fucking... Which I don't fuck it up that much. Grabbing the TNT is also awkward. It's worse than it looks. Like... It's awkward because of its positioning, but it's still, like, generally worth it. The other thing as well is that you only have 1 HP left, which means you've got to be slightly more careful when doing out of bounds. You don't, like, lose time or anything, but the spinner RNG could be bad. Like, you need to be a little... You can't go too fast with, like, the spawner, which you don't want to be anyway, because if it hits you, you lose time regardless, but yeah. How to properly test ball storage effects, I don't think anything's really I guess the only notable thing is that, like, if you... Like, let's say, because it's possible for an effect, like, let's say a Knucklehead, the 20th load of Knucklehead is no cheese to Knucklehead, right? Let's say your 19th load was Dennis, and then the 20th was Knucklehead. It's possible for it to be different if the 19th load was Knucklehead, so one prior load can change things, but it's quite uncommon. So what this basically means is that if a level only crashed because you died or something, or you drove forward, then technically you want to go back to that level when continuing the chain, like, because that was, like, the last load you did before it crashed. You want to go back there and then, like, resume the chain just so you have, just so you're, you know, thoroughly testing it, just in case. Again, they're unlikely, but they're not common, but yeah. Kirby Air Riders Direct, a new one got, like, announced. There's gonna be another one at some point, which is nuts because the game's coming out fairly soon, so I don't know. and even then, this one was pretty lengthy. TSSM, the worst video you will ever watch, that was the Sunday driving thing. I feel like there are ways to make it worse. Like doing, like, rocks, not Rockside Ring, because, like, how long it takes to, like, die and stuff is, like, part of it. How could I have made it worse? Actually, no, I know how I could have... Well, it wouldn't be worth it in Ring, but you know those Sunday triggers I was talking about? That would be... It wouldn't be good for Ring, but it'd be good for... so I'm wondering if, like... Maybe that was the worst I could do, was in that video, was Sunday Ring and then dying. I don't know. Because, in other Ring challenges, like Sandwich Driving and Weenie and stuff, like, you'd want the fastest way to die is literally just to wait for the Ring challenge to expire, which takes a long time. But there would also be less loads to test, so I'm not sure which one would be longer overall, so it's hard to say. When should I implement these strats? Nothing's changed. It's just, like, add stuff when you're actually consistent at it. Analyzing my 1 flat 26, I think it was before the SCDA damage boost thing. Other than that, nothing is different. TSSM's greatest runners, nothing to add. Practice session commentary. My early game practice was... Well, the early practice session was fucking bad, unfortunately, but yeah. And then the speedrunning history of BBBH, I golded BBBH again since. And that's basically it. So, okay, so I made it in time. That was the video. I know this is kind of random and there isn't much to, like, look at, but I thought it'd be a cool video to make. Just shows, like, how outdated some of those videos are. Yeah, thank you for watching, and goodbye.